There you go. Go, go, go. Go, go. Doesn't sound good. Grind that out. toasts. Hey, Amy. How are you doing this morning? Great. That is excellent. Probably. She's been wild this morning. She just had a can of food. She's quite pleased with herself. There she comes. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you messing with? Okay, you can't be in here right now, okay? While I'm doing this, you gotta go up here and hang out with eggs. Sit in the drawer with them. Hang out. Enjoy the day. No. I didn't take you out of here so you could run back in. I brought her out in the other room. She jumped down, looked at me, and then ran right back in here. Come here. Come here, monster. Yeah, I just caught like a minute of it, and then he deleted it all. Went on a spree. I've got to make a trip to the hardware store and buy one of everything. Running low on miscellaneous hardware. All right, I told you. Water bottle rules in effect. I've watched them in the past. I don't recall any in particular, but I do think I saw the one on Loomer's tire. That's a year ago, right? That old dry rotted tire that was just ready to blow. And which is obviously what happened. And if not, they did her a favor that it didn't blow while she was going down the road at 60 miles an hour. Crouch back in there. There we go. I guess there's some big big thing going on right now with a few of those people kind of at each other's throats. Yeah, I've been to it a couple of times. I've done work for it before for companies. I got to meet Douglas Adams before he passed away, which was pretty cool. There's always a lot of cool people at those things. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He's the author. I also met that gal from X-Files, and she was as nice as could be. They were representing one of the companies that I was dealing with. She really was she was nice, unless she was just on her best behavior. Is it Anderson? There's a company there at the time that was doing it was the first one I went to, so it's been quite a few years ago, but the company that was doing a World War II flight simulator, and they had a couple of World War II fighter pilots there. Those guys they were cool. They were old, at that time. Those guys were pretty wild. Talking about, some of the dog fights they were in, that was really, really neat. Yeah, some of that stuff those guys did, I mean, it just sounded terrifying. And it must have been just really, really scary. You didn't have the technology then. They had parachutes, but they would just flip open the cockpit and jump out off the side of the plane. I would imagine it'd be just as easy to get hit by your plane. Jump out and the wing hits you or clips you. And these are slightly smaller than the finished size. So I think that will give me the bomber cruise. If that's the one that just seems unimaginable with the losses that those guys incurred. clumsy this morning. Water. Oh, to talk to the pornography girl, which I'm guessing that's what that was. Some bot for an adult site. I just don't want to deal with those people at all. The Russian bots.
Let's see. Max is lucky. welcome. Hi everyone. I say hi to you anyway. I say hi to
Looks
everyone.
looks like Ethan's about to hit 170,000. That's awesome.
North Carolina. I used to live in North Carolina. Isabel Brokaw says my never-ending search for a Cyberfrog comic continues. It's not easy at this point. I mean, I feel like there was a limited supply.
It'd be nice if he could open a company and hire all these artists that are floating around.
Good morning. Yeah, this is great. Cyberfrog is doing magnificently. The link to the Indiegogo is in the description. Basically, all we need to do right now to break 170,000 is make $215. That's like selling maybe like 4, 5, 8 comics. Oh, look, I got $1.99. Thank you very much, Aleo Master. I appreciate you. Good as your word. $2 for a hello. That is money well spent, and that is a hello well spent. So, CB4 Public Enemy Steel, dude, your Cyberfrog artwork on Twitter.
Hey, what happened here?
I reposted it. I'll show it here for people to see. I mean, this is
what's going on?
Phenomenal. One of the great things about this is just seeing other people drawing your own character, other artists, and CB4 Public Enemy Steel basically usually only responds to me with the same GIF over and over again, which I think is hilarious. But look at this. Oh, now it's zooming in. Look at his Cyberfrog. Hot stuff. Good. I like the tongue coming out and everything. Beautiful work. Good anatomy here. Yeah, great job, man. Really, he stuck with the design very carefully. This is just, it's right on. It's terrific. So, great job. Looks like my guy. I would say one thing. I would say make that neck thicker. So with the neck, go ahead and draw that in there. I mean, his neck. Think about the way a frog's neck is. They don't really have a neck. It's just kind of right into their back. So, it's a great job, terrific job. Thank you so much for doing that. And keep that fan art coming. When I see a piece of Cyberpunk fan art, what do? I retweet it. I mean, that's what to do. Honestly, people need to see this stuff. Where did the plug go to this? Here it is. Just pulled it out and then just to show that. I have 28 iPads. It's too many. Might be too many iPads. Let's see here. Hi, Skyver. Did you ever get that pedicure? Asks McGonis for $2. No, I haven't. I haven't had time. I keep meaning to, and I just have not honestly gotten out to get a pedicure. I would love to see the look on Andrea's face today. She would probably have a look of amusement or annoyance. The kids are all over the house. We had a sleepover last night with one of Kaylee's friends. So the house is full of kids, and there's not a lot of time to do things like get a pedicure. Itty Bitty Kitty Committee shows up with £4.99. I have been enjoying a Sunday in the UK, waiting for the notification.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
I have an addiction.
I think it's
Well,
pretty
that's
good.
the kind of addiction that we want you to have. I mean, it's a good thing. Ryan Lady Gaga says, stop comparing Ethan to God, guys. God's not that good as an artist. I don't know that. I think God's a pretty good artist. I think, look, I don't want to be compared to God at all. I do think I'm probably better at drawing Cyberfrog than God. Probably better at drawing Cyberfrog. That's it. I mean, everybody has to have a specialty. That is mine. I will take on our Lord and Savior anytime that he wants to go.
So overnight,
Cyberfrog.
because it's warm enough, the clay shifted a lot. I came down, I sat down, I looked at it, and I thought, you know what, that's not looking right.
Let's see. Yeah, good afternoon.
Just kind of off. So I've got to lock this in, this pose.
Kickstarter is gone, says Supernet. Yeah, they took it down. Kickstarter actually, okay, so here's the story behind that. All of a sudden, out of the blue, somebody posted a Kickstarter that was a complete mirror duplicate of my campaign. And I don't know why it happened. I'm not sure. I immediately blamed SJWs and comics because they don't stop. I mean,
Lando, I have no idea about any of that. I really don't.
Destroy everything that anyone who is conservative or right-leaning does. I see these people.
I'll make it available to him if he approves it and likes it. But otherwise, I have nothing to do with that.
Weirdos like colluding and getting very very upset. By the way, they are extremely upset about this campaign. They're just like, oh my God, you know, it's like, yeah, listen, guys, just do it yourselves. I'm not stopping you. I'm in no way stopping you. Go and do your own campaign and you know, talk to your fans. And you don't have to be envious. Like the world, when I saw diversity in comics make $250,000, over $250,000 on his Jawbreakers Indiegogo campaign, you know what I felt in my heart? I felt awe. I was impressed with him, and I was happy for him. And I thought, wow, maybe comics aren't dead. Maybe what he says is correct. That even though SJWs have full-on taken over the comics industry and are just running it into the ground. I mean, Batman doesn't sell a fraction of what it used to sell. It's ridiculous. I mean, they have to do Batman 50 is coming out.
No, I didn't. It wasn't necessary for Chula. I just put like just a rod and started sculpting around it, but there weren't any. There's some like pins in the hands, but there weren't any real large overhangs that needed support.
We really just should focus more on communicating with the fans. Stop irritating the fans. Stop with the with the social justice and just do great rock and roll comics. That's all. I mean, if that's what you want to do, if your objective is to make money, and my objective is to make money, that's what it is. I have T-shirts. I come up with clever slogans that I think people will be happy to wear, and I sell T-shirts. My slogans are awesome. People buy them. And by the way, the T-shirts are terrific. Like at first I thought, well, my comics are going to be the main source of my income. Blah blah blah. The T-shirts are outstripping everything else that I do. I'm making incredible money selling T-shirts. I had no idea. I have new respect for T-shirt vendors. They do okay, at least when they come up with clever design slogans and have beautiful quality T-shirts. Crypto fashion T-shirts, honestly, cannot be top quality. Most people who are getting them are like, I didn't know T-shirts could be this good. They're soft, they're tapered. They really look. If you have they actually work both ways. If you're a guy with a good build, you get that nice V shape, to your shoulders and everything.
Chula, actually, I used a lot of polymer clay. I did an understructure with polymer clay and then boiled it.
Those T-shirts are great too. They're extra long, and so they come down and they will cover your belly.
And it was a nice understructure to work with.
It's a quality product people want. It has a nice, funny slogan.
A lot of people don't know that, like Sculpey and stuff like that, polymer clay.
And by the way,
it's much better to boil it than bake it.
You don't have to criticize the politics, call them Nazis or bigots. I mean, you can try it.
Of course, even the manufacturer, they say to bake it. But
all of this kind of philosophy,
it works great boiling it.
It's lost on this whole group of people that seems to be ruining comics and Star Wars and all, and they don't care. Like, then they just sit back and they're baffled.
No, I boil a big pan of water, like a spaghetti pan, and I throw a cup, like a small towel in there.
Have you heard of this great channel called DICK in Comics?
Like a dish towel size. And then I dip it and I hold it for, 30 seconds or a minute or something and let the outer surface harden. And then I just lay it on top of the towel and let it sit there in boiling water for about a half hour or so.
Have a friend that just comes over your house and makes irritating noises right in your ear?
It heats more thoroughly. It doesn't burn. And then it slowly, transfers the heat through the water, or I'm sorry, through the clay. And in my opinion, is a much better result.
Adam Ian Barry says, "Hi Ethan, do you think it's worth upgrading from Manga Studio to Clip Studio Paint?" I don't know. Adam. I don't know. I don't actually use any of those programs, so I'm not really sure. Let's see. Marsupial Gamer says, "Hey, God created EPS. I'd say that's a pretty damn good." Oh, that's absolutely true. But then again, he blew it here apparently. I didn't realize.
If I need to just like spot heat something, or I patch something, or I'm trying to hold something together, I'll just use a heat gun.
Sometimes I look at my thumbs when I first got I like seeing when we just sell one. Well, we did. We sold. Okay, so or did we not? Oh, we did, didn't we? We did. Okay, so we're now all we need is 100.
Yeah. So in the night, just the weight and because the clay is softer, that hip joint shifted out about a half an inch. So I sat down, I looked at it, and I thought, man, that leg looks really weird. And that's why.
And I don't get it. I mean, just, again, guys, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear what I'm doing. Gary Townsend says, Advanced Diver. Did I miss something? Are you trying to get my attention? SGW is a type of STD. Well, it's a cancer.
This is just 2-part epoxy. It's 5-minute set epoxy.
Let's see. What do I think?
Lock this pose in place.
I've always seen, except for
On that spool.
I've always seen Vertigo as very French, and it's
Coral wire. I know it was up here for Skexus.
Whatever. It's fine. Will it succeed? Vertigo will still sell very well. Not in this market anyway. I mean, not in this market. And by the way, if you want to hire, what's her name? Gamergate, good luck to you. Good luck selling those. People want to be associated, like SJWs want to be associated with her and just make sure they're on the right side of that girl, but they don't want to buy her.
I hang it up.
Constantine Petrochilios. I ruined these names. If Cyberfrog was an animated show, which actor would you like to give his voice to the character?
I have spent so much time over the years trying to find the ideal solution to organizing hundreds of small tools. And I've yet been unsuccessful at finding a perfect setup. You end up with a situation where everything just kind of blends in, and the thing you're looking for can be sitting right in front of you.
You are gay in all caps.
And you just don't see it.
Yeah. Hey, Johan Berkvich. Hey, wonderful Sunday. Soldier, thanks for
so one of these days, there is something that I would like to do.
Let's see you do it. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
It'll cost about $1,000 to do, but I think it would be great. Those rolling carts, those 4-wheeled rolling carts that have like a middle shelf, a bottom shelf, a middle shelf, and a top shelf. I would like to put all of my main supplies and tools on like 10 of those carts, and then just roll them up and push them up against the wall. Now, the same thing is going to happen with having so many things on one place, but I have all the shoe boxes, and as long as I give each cart a name, like airbrush cart, sculpting cart, I think that would really, and then if something that I'm not using for a month, I can just roll it under a bench and put it away, get it out of there.
Having said that, then I went, wait a second, why am I tempting? Let's get rid of this.
I was looking at Uline, where I get boxes from, and their stuff is very, very nice, but it's also very, very expensive. Maybe someone like Harbor Freight or something will have a cheap Chinese knockoff. I can order 10 of them.
Oh, great. I'm jealous. I would love to be able to do it. This is awesome. Mostly because we're running business. I'm actually there. People Club Joe says, F Moose, you're the man. Uncle Ethan, thank you very much. Yes, F Moose. F Moose. Loner Tim says, Jeff Goldblum for Cyberfrog. Jeff Goldblum as Cyberfrog? Pretty bad. Yeah.
Oh, I need to check this other leg too, just to make sure.
Well, I won't be doing. I don't roast comics.
Make sure we're still in there.
But everyone else will. The entire comic community is salivating for that. I'm sure they will make terrific videos. videos out of that. I mean, I've got people, I said this on my Twitter today. I was like, I woke up to a ton of like weirdo articles from Scott Mendelson. Again, Scott Mendelson has a bee in his bonnet. I looked at his picture today and I realized
this guy that Ethan's talking about, this Scott Mendelson.
Like not making fun of, angry at Star Wars.
I believe he's an author for Star Wars novels, but he's a Berman type. You know how we know Berman, just the odd, except for real obnoxious liberal. Who else? Who does he remind me of?
I don't know.
Maybe not so much Berman, a little bit, but
they are absolutely losing their minds. I honestly didn't expect this to happen. I didn't know that Solo was going.
No. Wendigo is the artist. Mendelson, I believe, is just a film critic or something like that. He's a real kook. He's an obnoxious fool. He would definitely be someone to follow his exploits. He's a real foolish man.
Underneath that rock, there are a bunch of disgusting cockroaches, a bunch of them. And you just have to flip open the rock, and then
I gotta get my name straight so I don't accuse someone of being someone they aren't.
I've said over and over again, I was like, Disney has an SJW.
Yeah, but there's also this author too. He seems to be kind of a creep.
They all follow this.
Not a nice guy.
Star Wars is
He's one of these guys who's writing all these articles about how Star Wars fans are all a bunch of Nazis, and it just the typical nonsense.
Entertainment conglomerates. I mean, everybody's concerned about Disney, and they will do Disney's bidding. So it's like when Solo bombed, like we said it was going to bomb. I didn't realize that they were going to immediately viciously attack the fan base. This whole thing was totally retrained, trumped up, weird distractions. By the way, guys, if you're Disney,
Yeah, enough with the Nazis already. You know what? It was 80 years ago. Nobody's a real Nazi anymore.
Solo was the very first Star Wars box office bomb, and that is going to last forever. I mean, that is a black mark. That is a check mark in the history books forever. It doesn't stay. Kelly Marie Tran was chased off her Instagram. Yeah, it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to abandon social media for harassment. Probably the worst thing I can imagine, and it's worth a condemnation of 1,000,000,000 words. But it's not that big of a deal, and it's not in comparison to the fact that these people have taken over Star Wars and run it into the ground in the course of just 4 years.
Well, you've got to appreciate the double down. I mean, these people will always double down. Double and triple.
Anyway, it was pretty quick. Pretty damn quick. And that's sad. That's sad. Let me scroll down because I've got my screen. I can keep up with you guys. A classic soldier, thank you for $2. My blow up was on that deleted screen. Thanks. You're welcome. We'll cover for you there. Aaron Collier, thanks for $20. This is for a Rose Tico cameo in Cyberfrog from West Deptford, New Jersey. Hey, brother. You don't live too far away from me. I'm over in Boston. Let's see. I used to go to Deptford Mall all the time. I think they had, was it Deptford or Echelon that had that little comic book store? And I used to go in there sometimes. Tracy Mater 2003 says the only thing weirder than Scott Mendelson's face is his voice. I've never heard him speak. Where can you hear Scott Mendelson expound on life? I'd be interested to know. I find him to be weird. I would like to know more about him. I would. I'm curious. Like, I honestly, like, how many more articles, Scott, are you going to write about Star Wars fandom? What is you write for movies? You write about movies for wars. You don't want to write about Jurassic Park. You want to write about. Like I said, I'll make videos all day long. I'll make videos. I'll say something that'll be a new T-shirt slogan, and I'll make a lot of money off of it. My videos keep going. I mean, it's all good. But I'm just like scratching my head. Like, what exactly is your objective? More awesome metal than for €5. If the Cyberfrog you're working on makes a world blast, will you re-edit a worldwide compilation? quite possibly, yeah, we're talking about it. The question is, okay, and a couple of people have stepped forward to say that they can
I
do it.
actually, for sculpting, I don't.
Anymore, obviously. I mean, they're old.
Painting,
To
yes.
have somebody go through, rescan all of the books, okay, and then clean them up. Maybe, I don't even know, swap out the color and have them recolored. I don't know how to do it. I really don't. Somebody might. If somebody knows, they can contact
I'm
me.
going to finish blocking this window off on this side of the house, though. This is the eastern side where sun rises, and
Maybe actually a soft cover. I don't know.
a lot of heat can come in through that window.
I mean, maybe. I'd rather just solicit it. I'd rather give it to, a publisher and have them do all the work. Frankly, it's obvious when it does need to happen. Hunter Dirk says, how do SGWs get their way? They intimidate people. They call people names. They are relentless. They'll ruin reputations. That's what they do. It's really nasty pieces of art. It's one thing to be a left wing and have those ideas. Also metal. A slider is lucky. Thank you very much for 999. Good morning. Yes, I thought you may have gotten hacked again. Solo is losing more than 80 million.
I know one thing I am going to do today is
I don't
take
know.
this
I don't know at this point. And
flange off here and cut this
they
down.
have not released to the public what Ron Howard spent. And that
Make
is
it a little more
There's a lot of like cover-ups going on.
easy to work with.
You know that George Miller spent $250 million. That was their budget to get as far as they did. And they finished, according to some reports, 85% of the movie they were making.
All right, I gotta go see if I can find some more
Spent money quickly. Like they apparently
832 hardware.
Of one scene, letting all of them Aaron might go through different versions of the line.
Which I absolutely should have. Remember, if I used a bunch of it for something.
You don't want it to be funny. We don't believe Star Wars is funny. Let's get you out of here and we'll hire somebody competent. I mean, like, clean up.
Next time I'm out, I'm just gonna buy like
Ron Howard can do anything. Let's get him in
bags
the film. Now, how much did Ron Howard spend to reshoot the film? I don't know. I have no idea, but it was probably an awful lot, and they're hiding that cost. We don't know. So, when they say, yeah, we lost 80 million, okay, I guess. I mean, I'll take you at your word, but it doesn't seem like we know all of the math here. We are missing something. So, comic book music. Good morning, Ethan. I did a super chat in your video, but you forgot about it, which is all good. Oh, that's right. We got to do the Salamandroid theme song. That was done by, it was done by Comic Book Music. I'll find that. We'll put that on right now. I mean, anybody who wants to do a soundtrack to Cyberfrog. I mean, that is soundtrack. All right, so this is I'm downloading. I have to download it. It's an MP3. All right, all the way. Oh, you know why? I have headphones on. It's internal. And that's what thank you for doing this. I've never even thought of it. Silent Alice. Wonderful work. Wonderful work. Let me plug right back in here. I got my microphone. Great job. I mean, that sounds cool as hell. It sounds like it does sound like a movie. It's just like a movie soundtrack. Beautiful.
I get lucky on that.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I've also got to transplant
You understand? We're definitely gonna have to say
a plant. I finally got some turmeric root to sprout and root.
No, we did. We broke 170,000. Wow, unbelievable. Thank you, everyone. We are at $170,000 now. That is
good. He hit 170.
Let everyone know. Oh man, the chat is flying now. Ethan Craig, thanks for $2. Good morning, you guys. Good morning to you, and thank you. Tim King, thank you for 5 votes. Kelly Marie Tran is attractive, but they made her look like every ugly feminist out there in The Last Jedi. Oh, I don't know why they did that. I don't know what the uglification of feminism is, but they didn't need to do that to that beautiful woman. Classic Soldier, $2. There you go, 170K. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate you. If you did that, that is gigantic.
Indiegogo.
Alfred McKay.
It's the link in the video name. I put it the short link.
The last movie. By the way, please check your private Facebook message. You rock. What are you going to do? Okay, I'll do that when I'm done the chat, Alfred. I'm sure it might be personal. Let's see. Scrolling down. Duke Nukem. People really love the music. They absolutely love it. Oh, people are excited about 170,000. I want to let people know on Twitter. Obviously, go on Twitter, brag about it. By the way, yeah, this drives them nuts. It drives SJWs crazy. They're like, what is going on? How does it? It's pretty easy. You create a cool project, and by the way, this isn't some weirdo, personal journey story of being a loser. It's an exciting comic book. We need to get back to this. We need to get back to the way comics used to be. I put up new art. Obviously, here's the rebirth of Cyberfrog piece. I finally figured out how to do this. I was like, why can't I upload artwork here? Well, because it was taking you press the button to upload, and then nothing happens, and you just sit there and wait for about 30 seconds, and then it uploads. I was like hitting the button like this. Why don't I see a little circle spinning or anything? Finally, I heard your uncle presentation. So anyway, I uploaded this. Here's the t-shirt design. Here is the Moose Bauman colored Cyberfrog piece. Let's give Moose a look. Well, I paid for it. I paid for it. I might as well use it, right? I mean, for goodness sakes, we gave him a lot of money for this. The Pee-wee, thanks for $1.99. Morning, good morning to you. Nobody's told me I look pretty jacked today. That's not great. Almost 3,000 backers. Yeah, 29.19. Oh, how do we get to 3,000 backers? That means 3,000 copies sold, essentially. I mean, it means 2,000 copies sold, pretty much. So let's see, scrolling down. Oh, this is the new thing. This is the new piece that I put up. I've been working on this kind of for a while while I'm campaigning. I think this is going to be a poster, guys. I think this is definitely going to be a poster. So this is Salamandroid, and walking around with Cyberfrog, and Cyberfrog's just like, they just set a whole hive on fire. Salamandroid's got a bee. He's got one of the alien wasps stuck to his shoulder fins, and he's carrying another one and kind of crushing it in his fist.
He's got a big YouTube channel. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets. And he's live right now. Fantastic artist. Really, he put up the finished drawing and inking that he was doing on his live stream. He posted it, and it's just such nice artwork. Even if the subject is, you're not into the subject, you can easily tell the skill there.
Fire everywhere, covered in beat guts, like poor Cyberfrog. 2 stingers in him, one little fragment of the stinger here, and then one hole broken off stinger right in his shoulder, right in his heart, actually. That's worrisome. That is worrisome. But yeah, so I'm going to start uploading a lot more artwork. Here's the Salamandroid piece. This is the first.
I think on Twitter it's Comic Artist Pro Secrets too. It's the same.
Salamandroid has little legs and big, like long arms because he's built like a Komodo dragon. Like he mostly walks on his front, his arms. He walks like almost like a monkey kind of, but more like the Komodo dragon, just bent at the elbows. He can stand up, but he's better off running, like moving fast when he's on all fours because his legs are so short. The Cyberfrog is the opposite. He's got long legs that actually extend when he jumps. I mean, when Cyberfrog jumps, his legs kind of will actually stretch out like this. It's like they're just they allow him to jump further. They're kind of elastic. I mean, they're not that long, but they get longer. He's tall and skinny. He's got like super long legs and just regular proportioned arms. So I just think they look cool together. The fact that they're proportioned so differently. Um, yeah, and Salamander just hates these stingers. I mean, he just hates it. Like, it doesn't even hurt him anymore. It's gonna be so fun to watch these guys pull those wasps. Uh, Man, it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait. I want this book out now. I you know, I honestly, guys, I wish I could just read my own book like for the first time. I mean, not to compare myself to the Beatles. Paul McCartney once said, "I always wondered what it was like to get a Beatles album and just listen to it. Because it's like when you are the person who's slaving away at this, it's like you don't know what it's like to actually just get it and have it wash over you. You know every single angle, every little like detail that you slaved over. It doesn't. You're too close to it. But to actually get your own book, like I wish I could jump to the future and read it and just see if I like it. I think that'd be cool. There is a Cyberpunk origin story. I've done it a bunch of times, so we're gonna talk about Cyberpunk. I'm gonna put a lot of hold on. Let me check some super chats before we get into this. Yeah, let's talk today. Um, Jimmy Russell, thanks for £2 donation. Appreciate that. The Caustic Soldier, thanks for $2. Moose's hollow discs are better than the new guy copy. Yeah, I can see
And
that.
Compressor, I'll get you a
Uh,
tracking number. I got to take a break from this at some point today and do those tracking numbers and get those sent out.
Tim King, thanks for $5. Idea for a shirt to promote your channel. Put your YouTube link on the shirt with "This better not be porn" on. What do you think? Everybody wants it. This better not be porn.
Tell you, I say here the hours go by so fast.
A toe thumb about to hit a link and then say "This better not be porn."
I just want him to slow down everything.
I can't.
Need more time.
Like, I'm always hesitant to make a shirt because I'm like, people might just be pulling my leg about wanting to buy that. However, the Phantom Menace did really well. Go Get Daddy's Bell was another one that you guys wanted, and that is doing amazingly. That's the thing. Crypto fashion, they're used to. Honestly, they've never been in business with someone like me before. I look at the other T-shirts that they have. They've done T-shirts for kind of like conservative authors, comic book writers, and artists as well. And then, I think he just kind of is used to maybe selling 3 shirts a week. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine that they. But it's like we come in there and I tell him I get the Swillo design. Like, you're going to sell 1,000 of these, and he goes, "Oh yeah, right." No, you're going to, and he did. So it's like suddenly he's had to rehire. He's had to hire a bunch of people. He's got his sister working for him. They're doing everything they can, and they're getting those T-shirts out on time. He told me on Friday. He said, "Tell everyone that if they want a Get Daddy's Belt T-shirt, they need to have it in by Friday. They need to have the order in by Friday, which was this past Friday." But he's like, "By the way, if they can probably they get their order in by Sunday. As long as it's in by the weekend, we can fill it." They're concerned about shipping those Go Get Daddy's Belt T-shirts in time for Father's Day, which is next week. So if you still want to get a Go Get Daddy's Belt T-shirt for Father's Day, that's the kind of shirt that my dad would like. I would like it too. I love Go Get Daddy's Belt. It basically is just like, you know what? What does that slogan mean? It just means, all right, look, some discipline is required here. It's time for the smackdown. It doesn't, I mean, in so many different ways. Whenever you read some of these stupid articles, whenever an SJW has something stupid to say, Go Get Daddy's Belt. It's time to verbally smack these people down. So it's a good shirt, or it could be It better not. It better not mean feeding your children. You don't want to feed your kids. That's not your role. It's a dad. Most daddies know that. So anyway, if you do want, if you do want one of those, order it right away, and it will get to you as a gift for your father. Or, I mean, listen, if you're a father, why don't you wear it on Father's Day? That's a great shirt to wear out for Father's Day. Timotei Best says, Ethan, is you swole? Dude, I'm swole, but like not in that way. Not in that way. Not in a good way. But I'm losing weight. I'm at the gym. Captain Badrock says Cyberfrog should meet Gulf City Cartoons. All hail Blue Whale. All hail Blue Whale. I don't know Gulf City Cartoons. Is that your company? Good for you. I like All Hail Blue Whale. Tim Ping, thanks for $5. I do for sure. Okay, so you said that. I heard that one. Chris Hannigan, thank you for Canadian $5. Hey, how much for a black and white copy of the comic when it's done? I don't. I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know if I'm gonna publish it in black and white. Hey, we might. Yeah, we might. Robert Wood just says Ethan is swole already.
Let's lock this in.
But yesterday I did something bad. Andrew said, "Hey, we're ordering what you want," and I went, "Chicken farm sandwich." Listen, if you live in New Jersey, order pizza at all times. I mean, order from pizzerias. That chicken farm sandwich, unreal. And sweet potato fries. And I ate it right at my desk, and I was like, "Yep, yeah, bad food is delicious." So Kiwi, thank you for $4.99. Thank God we have Indiegogo. This would be a good case of survival of the fittest. All the graphics. Yeah, this is what Indiegogo offers the opportunity to do. And by the way, I really think that we're building something new here. I think that it's not going to be long before this is the method of selling comics for people. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Oh, we just sold like two more comics. Thank you very much. I would love to get to 175. So if you guys have not yet purchased a copy of Cyberfrog Blood Honey, we've got 902 people in here. If you haven't yet purchased a copy, now's the time. If you can spare $25, you can get a copy signed of Cyberfrog Blood Honey. It's gorgeous. It's going to have a chromium cover. That means it's going to be metallic. It's almost going to look like foil, and you'll be able to see your reflection in it. They don't make comics like that anymore. They just don't make them like that anymore. They used to make them all the time in the 90s. Every comic had a chromium cover because it was important to stand out. In an industry that was just booming, comics were selling left and right. Everything had chromium on it because it's like, how can we get attention? How can we sell more books? Those are expensive to make, and we're going to make them. We're going to do it again. We're going to bring back comics the way they used to look. In terms of their presentation and their overall quality of presentation, like they were in the 1990s. We have the money to do it. Why can't we do it? We should just totally do it just this once and just feel like what that felt like again. And hopefully we can do it 3 more times. I want to have 4 books. It'd be amazing if they were all chromium. We'll see how that goes. We're going to do that over the next 2 years. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of book that you're going to be happy to have. You're going to enjoy having it. You can get 2 copies of it for $40. You can get a copy of this book and the prequel Ashcan, which was going to be in black and white, but now it is in color by Kyle Ritter. He's going to color it. All new material. It's going to be like a missing Cyberfrog story from the 90s that I'm actually working on that right now before I can begin Blood Honey. It's going to be the story of how the world ended. How it all happened, why we are now in the year 2018 and the world is gone. The world has been taken over by wasps and just a few people survived. And here's the thing. I'll tell you some details about this now that I don't think I've talked about yet. I did a little research on bees and wasps and everything. Like, how do what are some peculiar things? In order to survive, and only about 10% of humanity still exists at this point. You need to do a few things. First of all, when you see swarms of these gigantic bees and wasps, they do not notice you unless you get excited. If you start exhaling,
Has big, glowing orange and yellow eyes.
So if you start panicking, like people do around bees, this is why people get stung. Is because when a bee comes around around, they panic, they flail, they breathe really hard. And it's not that the bee is afraid of your arms. The bee smells the carbon dioxide that you're exhaling, gets high and prays from it and stings you. So that is the thing. In order to survive, people have learned to just keep their heads down and be calm. Never react. Do not get excited. Do not panic. If you panic, more of them will come. So you have to just walk along with your business. The other thing is they are colorblind to the color red. They can't see red. So people who want to survive, humans that want to survive and still walk around and do their things, they wear red cloaks and they paint their faces with red paint, and they try to stay calm. And that is the only way that you can coexist with wasps. And that is taking a chance. These aliens, they still might get you, but you're going to be safer, you're going to be safest, and the likelihood of you being taken. And what they do is first they kind of attack you and they stick a proboscis, they pollinate you. They change the chemical makeup of your blood inside you into honey, and it takes 3 days for your blood to completely turn chemically into this honey-like substance. And so, if a bee attacks you, it's actually it's kind of like being bitten by a zombie. You're okay for a little while until the zombie bite kills you, and then you become a zombie too. So the bees of these aliens will come at you. They'll stick their proboscis in you. They'll pollinate you. They'll change your blood into honey, and it takes 3 days. So first, you're walking around with your loved one who's attacked, and they're acting normal. They're just freaked out. On day two, after having been attacked by one of these aliens, they're saying weird things to you. They're acting funny. They're a little bit off. You know what I mean? They're not quite themselves, and you realize they are. The honey is going to their brains, and then by day three, honey just starts to leak from their eye sockets, from their noses, from their mouths, and they just fall over dead. And once they do that, the bees will come claim you, and they will chew up your body. They take the honey, and they chew up what's left of you, your bones, your skin, and they basically dry it out and they mix it with their saliva and make it into paper. They build their hives out there. So when you see Manhattan, you're going to see
It's funny.
Manhattan now, after the aliens come, and it's papered over. Picture a huge, gigantic nest kind of built in between the two towers now, where the Queen lives. The Statue of Liberty with just little segmented, little Cuba hives all over it. Um, you know, it's all made from human
I'm
flesh.
just melting this down to the armature so it's as solid as possible. I don't want any voids under there. Just add to the strength.
And this is the thing. So most people have already been taken.
Get a nice bond to the wire, and
still these aliens are careful not to
it's probably not necessary, but
humanity. And they're they're letting people walk around.
Certainly can't hurt.
Go out. There's going to be one scene where Heather Swain, um, uh, Heather Swain is now 38 years old, and she has a kid. She has a kid. Where did the father of the child go? Find out. But it's just her and him now. This little boy who's about 13 years old. And you see her just kind of like saying, "Okay, honey," and she's painting his face red. So you see her fingers like touch his cheeks, touch his forehead, touch his nose, and just paint his face red. Put on the cloak, just kind of like a little Red Riding Hood kind of cloak, and say, like, "You remember, stay calm, stay calm." And he's like, "Yes, mom, yes, mom." And he goes out there, and he's out there trying to gather food. He goes to a 7-Eleven. He's found a 7-Eleven on his way to pick apples, and he goes in there to get batteries for his video game. And batteries are a prized thing. There is no power anymore. If you can find Duracell batteries that still work, you can play video games. That is what this kid is up to. That's what life is like now. Just pushing westward, pushing away from where the aliens landed and are colonizing right in the heart of Manhattan. And they're in Pennsylvania now, and just trying to move on foot westward. You cannot get into a car. You can't drive. They will find you. You have to stay on foot, you have to stay calm, and you have to dress in red. That is the thing. Mojo Hook Barb says, if there's no power, how are we going to listen to EBS? Oh, I'm dead. Listen, take me first. You know, I don't want to live through this. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. So when Cyberfrog emerges right in the center of his house. Like his apartment building was in North Jersey. It's just a burned out old Tuscan building, just right over the river from New York City, right over the back. He comes out and he's been sleeping down there underneath it for 20 years. And when he comes out, you just see those kind of octagon, they're hexagons actually, these hexagonal shapes with little squirming, maggots, pupa of these aliens. And they're outside of his windows, they're everywhere. He sees a bucket of chicken that's been sitting there for 20 years. That's what happened. And so we're going to see the origin story. You'll find out, all about the little bucket of chicken. You'll find out exactly how it happened, why he ended up under his building and sleeping for 20 years. That's all in the prequel. That is all in Cyberfrog 1998. So if you pledge at $50 here, you're going to get that little mini comic Ashcan. It's 16, might be 20 pages. I don't even know yet, but it's going to be at least 16 pages of story and art in that prequel that'll tell you what happened in 1998. Let's see if anybody did. Let's see if we got any new books sold. Oh, we did. We sold a couple. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That is the game. Heather Swain is Cyberfrog's friend. She's the only person who's ever been, nice to Cyberfrog. And you can see their whole relationship. This is the this way. Looks like it's all Cyberfrog comics. This is the Salamander scene. This is from like 1997, I think. This right here, this little girl's Rebecca. Salamandroid is Cyberfrog's little brother, which is kind of cute because he's also 4 times the height of Cyberfrog. He's a hulking, gigantic creature. How are they brothers? Well, because the infant, the unborn fetus, the alien fetus that was sent to Earth in the spacecraft that was meant to just be Cyberfrog was a twin. They didn't realize that. It was a twin, and Cyberfrog was born and kind of left, and then the other portion of this fetus came in contact with the salamander and became salamander. That's very awesome. And became salamander. They didn't even know about each other for the longest time. They didn't know about each other.
I only saw like a minute of it, and then he deleted it all.
They've just learned about salamander. And Cyberfrog didn't know. But this is the two of them together. They used to just be buddies. They would hang out in places that nobody else would ever go, and they would talk.
Oh, right. By the time I got there to copy a link, he was deleting them.
So this is their old kind of.
But he was hammered.
Heather escaped just barely. I mean, Heather was just bringing Cyberfrog dinner when he ate and kind of fell asleep.
He was hammered.
Bad happened that day. When Cyberfrog came home to find Heather.
It was late. It was like 2 in.the.morning or something. It was after 1. I streamed till 1. Then we found this crazy show on someone's live stream on Facebook. It was insane. This guy's doing paintings with his blood, and it was weird as could be.
From her point of view, most people didn't survive. So when Cyberfrog wakes up 20 years later, all he can think about is where Heather is.
Yeah, Avery found it. Put a link out. And then Karen went live in Atlantic City. I mean, it was crazy. 2 o'clock in the morning.
So Heather is with a band of about 10 surviving humans. If you would like to
I finally at you know, like 2:15 or something like that, I was like, I have to go to bed.
I'm offering slots.
I can't keep doing this. This is crazy.
Cyberfrog. If you want to bid at the $5,000 level, then you'll get it.
Yeah, this guy had this series, like it was a series of paintings all done with his blood. And they were grisly, man. It was thick and coagulated and dried.
And that is who you are in this book. You know, whatever your life is now, that is what your life was then, just before the world ended. And,
Let's see if I can get you guys a link to this guy's where he was streaming. I mean, be warned, it is out there.
Survivors cannibalize infected humans and eat their blood money. No. That's it's too. They don't. They run. It's the worst thing in the world. Like, here's why it's bad. When you get infected by one of these alien hornets or bees, and I'm gonna call them the name. Right now, I call them the swarm. But when you get infected by the swarm, the problem is you have 3 days until you die, and when you die, you know that they're all coming to get you. They remember where you are. They can track you. They can smell you. They mostly work, their vision is sensitive compared to the fact that they can't see red, but they can smell you. They certainly do smell the money when you're dead, and that means they're all going to come get you. So it's like if your wife gets bitten or gets attacked by one of these bees, you have to say goodbye on the next episode. You have to if you're going to survive, because if you don't, they're going to come in there and get you too. You know, you need to, if your wife's bitten, hang out with her until she starts mumbling gibberish. If your loved one is attacked, stay with them, hold their hand, cry with them, because in 2 days you've got to say goodbye. You can't be there when they die. If you're there when they die, you are going to get attacked by the bees to come back, and it's going to be it's absolutely terrible. It's a sad fate for the human. Now, Salamandroid has a little girl. He adopted. She's an orphan. He found her.
No, it wasn't. It was. I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing. I sat there. It's like this hippie guy. He's as peaceful and calm and smiley, happy. He's definitely out there. I mean, but then is like there's all these little toys all lined up and stacked, and the room is covered in posters and uh, little figures, and I mean it was the craziest thing just to happen upon in the middle of the night. I sat there and I watched it for a half hour. And so I was in his live chat and I'm watching it and I was like, I typed and I said, this rules. Because he's got all his happy tunes playing, and he runs over to his keyboard and he goes, Clay Farmer, we love you. And then it starts looping and echoing, and it had delay on it and all these effects, and it's going, Clay Farmer, we love you. Clay Farmer. It was hilarious. I gotta try to find you guys a link. It was one of the craziest things that I just walked into. Well, actually, Avery found it and linked to it. It was Facebook Live. I was dying laughing. And this song's playing in the background, boo, ba, doo, boo, boo, doo, boo, 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 and every now and then it goes, Clay Farmer, we love you, boo, ba, doo, boo, boo, doo, boo. And it went on and on and on. It was the funniest thing. I was dying. I think it was like, you know what? I don't really want to say it on this channel because I don't want someone's kid to go and happen upon that madness because I announced it.
Those are my signed copies of Cyberfrog. 2921, baby. Let's go to 3,000. Yeah. Awesome. Let's see.
Because I think that there could be some really weird stuff that goes on.
170,500 2,931 backers. That's 2,931 backers. We might hit. I hope we hit 3,000 backers today. I'm really gonna work it today. I know I haven't been. I feel like I've been promoting Star Wars too much and not promoting Cyberfrog enough. I'm gonna work hard today to try to get this campaign moving. Thank you guys for your support. Thanks for responding to this.
Hey! Welcome to Jason Is a Social.
Go on over there. I mean, make sure that you get a copy.
Yeah, it's still up. I'll post it in Viduka.
Later, after everybody already has their copy, I'm going to solicit it to comic book stores, and those books are not going to be Chromium cans. They're just going to be regular.
Looks like he's partaking in a little of the medical mirage.
I'm telling you, do it now. This is going to be absolutely enormous. Cyberfrog comics right now are impossible to find. This book that I'm reading to you right now, good luck finding a copy.
Trying to find that time code.
Are gone. I mean, they're gone from every website on the net.
Yeah, there's the blood photos.
And every time eBay puts up a new Cyberfrog book, well, actually, every time a retailer puts up a Cyberfrog book on eBay, it's more expensive than it was the last time. The prices are that's supply and demand. You can't really see how much people right now. Yeah, there are more Cyberfrog books up. Every single time they do this, they're more and more expensive. Right, so here is. Right, so here's eBay right now with Cyberfrog. Look at this. It's like you can bid on Cyberfrog Zero. Hungry. Wow, $50 super chat. Thank you.
Laborde, come here, my mama.
That was a great overview of the Cyberfrog world. I'm eager to read this book. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be beautiful. So glad you bought this comic. And this is just part one of 4. So, by the way, I don't have a happy ending.
Yeah, it looks like this thing went on about 3.5 hours.
At all. It's going to end in a very bad way. It's going to be very and it's going to be. I'm so excited about it. This is a new kind of zombie book. This is a brand new kind of zombie book. Blackwood is
327.
Will there be time travel at the end of the series to reset the timeline and make room for a new story taking place in our timeline 2018? No. No time travel, no cheap excuse. This is an ongoing world. The world ends. I don't believe in time travel. Everything that happens in this comic, there are consequences. There are real dire consequences.
I don't know if this was it. I think so.
The last comic book on the zombie story I've ever heard.
Hey, so what the show is.
Oh, hey,
No.
How you doing?
But, I've been asked so many times, practice of nursing with my own mental illness. Night after night, and give me the most valuable resource. Mixed with the merry melody of Looney Tunes. I want to be dirty.
Yeah, I wish I could say this guy was just a little off and he's harmless, but I really don't know that.
An undone button according to your Dumbo college.
I see Bro back. Okay. Yeah, Hunter's just tried to FaceTime me, and I told him I'm FaceTime me. I'm probably live. Where was I? Blue Jay, thank you so much. I'm going to start an Indiegogo to put Cecil and Cyberpunk down. Fine.
Anyways, I'll post that later in Viduka. You can go and watch it. It was insane.
Let's see. We need all of Cyberpunk. Supercell says
It was insane. How are we doing here?
I think you're able to just drop in and just donate, because somebody donated $1 just to give me hell. Somebody gave me $1 just to troll me. So I'm pretty sure you It's something to check that just to see if Derek Moore will be in one second.
I believe that other project, the little guy with spider legs, I think that is a go. I got a message this morning that is ready to go.
Red Knuckles for $5. Gulf City is a 1-year-old cartoon and it's 12th episode on YouTube. Check Gulf City and Bright Supremacy.
So that's a cool little project. I mean, that's straight out of a comic book too. I'm glad he's doing it. At first, he told me about it. I was kind of like, yeah, well. I started looking at it. Man, this is awesome.
Are there sentient beings who are in league with the Wasp? And also, please, can you draw Tromedeus? Yeah, Tromedeus. Spoiler alert: Tromedeus survived, so he is going to be in this brief. Tromedeus is an android kind of dude who's made up entirely of old, busted up classical instruments like harpsichords and everything, and he is out to make terrible music. That's his whole thing. He just wants to do Robertson, and he thinks he's Mozart.
Give it a little head start here.
If we get like somewhere crazy, like $250,000, I can kind of double the book in size just to have the untouched artwork in the back. So since you get the story in color, you get the word balloons and everything, and then afterwards we reprint the artwork just in black and white, no color, no word balloons. So we go through and add it. That might be a cool idea. The book would be twice as big.
I need a smaller one. That one's too big. It's got an adjustment on the side of it, but it doesn't seem to affect anything. So that's full blast, and that's low. It's really not doing anything. I need a flame about that big, about 2 inches. This one goes out, 6 inches. It works great, but I need a smaller one too. I used to have an alcohol torch. I don't know what I did with it. And thinking about it, I haven't seen it in a very long time, so it's probably not even here.
I gotta go back and reread the old comics. I don't know. I might put little nods to those guys in there. Yeah, that'd be fun. But I mean, the thing is, I want this to go on and on and on. This story does have a focus. It'd be great if I could draw Cyberfrog for years. Not just, I'm planning on doing it for the next 2 years. My schedule over the next 2 years.
Oh, if it's a flame, that's hot enough. This one's this is too much for most things because I'm holding it way back. I should just order another alcohol torch. They're not expensive.
And then the fourth Tabletop Joe says, how did you come up with Cyberfrog Uncle Ethan? All right, so I was 19 years old, and I realized I had to get into comics because that was my goal, and I needed to start somewhere.
What I need is one just like a cigar lighter, the little butane cigar lighters that it has a 90 degree, and that would be enough. If for whatever the big one was great for like Kumia, but it's too much for these little scopes.
This girl that very, very strange, but there was this girl, and she was really pretty, and I met her at the mall. She came to visit me all the time, left her boyfriend in the car, and then we So I did a doodle, and I went, okay, yeah. I changed it to Cyberfrog. The cyber was the word before, and I realized fashion probably wouldn't start to go very far. So he was Cyberfrog from then on. He was basically like a ripoff between Turtles and Spider-Man. And I started drawing these kind of, and Spawn and everything. If you see like old images of Cyberfrog, he's got like smoke coming out of his eyes and everything the way Spawn used to. I took Cyberfrog around, and I remember somebody said, "Oh, it's like Battletoads."
This little potpourri pot is great because it doesn't really boil. It stays at a temperature to kind of seep the potpourri. But it takes a long time to heat up. Once it's there, it's fantastic. That other one too. It's more of a mini crock, but it gets a lot hotter. All right, I will be right back.
He said, yeah, I was a young man, those guys were young men. Let's look together and be All Heroes Comics. They published Cyberfrog, and then Harris Comics found and decided they would like to diversify their line of comics, their brand, and they decided to publish Cyberfrog as well. So Cyberfrog lasted from 1993 until 1998, at which point we had a toy deal in place, an animation deal in place. Dan DiDio, from DC Comics right now, he was working at Mainstream Entertainment. He was going to be the guy who was doing the computer animated CGI Cyberfrog show. That's where I met him for the first time. And it just all fell apart. And it was no longer paying the bills for me. So I had to go work for DC. And I was like, oh, Cyberfrog 5. It's paying the bills now. But it took a while. I had to spend 20 years working at the big two in order to come back and do what I wanted to do. So that's where Cyberfrog came from. All right, let me look. I want to see what these are going for. $20 for a very good condition copy of Cyberfrog Zero. I have like 3 of these, I think. $24.99 for Cyberfrog 1. You can bid 8 bids for Cyberfrog number 1. This is the Hall of Heroes. These are super scarce. There might be, maybe there's 2,000 of these in the world. Here's the ash can. Oh, look. It's the ash can that we're reading right now. $300. Good luck. $300. It's a lot. Don't buy this. Put the $300 into, Dan DiDio worked on reading. That's correct. Put the $300 into the campaign. My goodness. The Cyberfrog number 1s are absolutely crazy right now. Here's Cyberfrog number 2, very fine and near mint with the Dan bracket cover, $80. $45 for a copy number 1. Now it wasn't long ago that I said don't spend more than $3 on this, but actually just buy this right now. And that was like 3 weeks ago that I said that. Looks like I was right. But here's a copy here. You can bid Cyberpunk number 1. It ends in 2 days and 3 hours. I might have another copy number 1. I won't do it. I'll let somebody else get it. Good stuff. Last week, number 1s on Amazon were $1.75. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can find these in 50-cent bins. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should be able to find them. If you really look hard and you go to the right kind of place, like the right kind of retailer, you should be able to find these, like, pretty cheap. Not this. You won't find this. I don't think so. You will find this. You should be able to find number 2. This is number 0 with the Arthur Adams cover, which is really, really nice. $100. Looks like a signing. Oh my God, signed by Alan Stewart. That's great. He was the publisher of All Heroes. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy right now. eBay and Cyberpunk. And let's just see how this campaign is doing now. Oh man, if we only get it to 171. We're almost there. Okay, so we're at $170,850 right now. Dumbest thing says I missed my chances with Cyberfrog.
I made just a little 2-cup pot. Not quite ready to
and I went to my local retailer and asked.
Quit the coffee yet today. Well, I'd like both.
What?
See, the alcohol torch you squeeze for the air source, so you have a little flame, and then you squeeze the bottle, and it blows a puff of hot air. So it's really nice for like wax and fine work. But I definitely want to get a smaller torch.
Now Cyberfrog,
Sometimes you just need to brute force it.
Cyberfrog comes out. He's a Gen Xer. He's always been a Generation Xer. He's kind of like, I'm a slacker. I'm just around, watching Jerry Springer on TV. I'm eating fried chicken. I don't really care. Screw all this. Like that. That has always been Cyberfrog. Gen Xer, a kind of jerky boys personality. And then he comes out into the world of the swarm. And what is that like? Like, what kind of an effect?
This is just the way I'm doing this is my personal preference. It's not necessary to do. You can pack clay and mush it all together. I just like my understructure to be completely welded together and solid.
I'm not saying this is any kind of metaphor or allegory, but you do kind of have to say, as one generation fades into the next,
No voids, and it's all bonded together very well. Uh-oh, I'm going to get the water bottle. I'm going to get it. Get out of here.
Cared about Heather deeply, but he'd always kind of go,
well, and that's why I'm doing this. I want a very solid bond to the armature. So that it doesn't shift or slide around.
Cyberfrog was supposed to come here, interact with a human being.
So it takes a little bit longer than just mushing the clay on there, but I'm on my own clock. I'm not on anyone else's clock for production.
But instead, he accidentally met a frog. So he ended up looking like an
my way.
Frog instead of the superhero, the guy superhero he was meant to be. And that has led to him trying to do it. He came to Earth, he's supposed to save people, and people are afraid of him. And he just kind of has
Let's see if I have a little bit of paraffin too. I know I have beeswax, but I think I used all my wax supply. Yeah, order that tomorrow too. Some Candelia and some Carnauba.
Cyberfrog has to realize he really loves Heather. He's concerned about Heather. He's concerned about Heather's son. He's concerned about all these survivors, the pitiful group of people that Heather has banded together to protect. And you start to see these bees as vicious monsters. I mean, just Cyberfrog has to just and here's the other thing. Like, the thing about Cyberfrog is one of his superpowers is that his body is programmed to adapt to any threat. And it does that with the spaceship, the living spacecraft in the swamp. Chelsin, he's on a piece but anyway, the spacecraft that brought him to Earth actually, kind of is his navigation system. And so when Cyberfrog was faced maybe 5 of these giant bees, giant hornets, Chelsin would be in the swamp adapting his body. Okay, you're going to need weapons like this. You're going to need armor like this to protect you from the stingers. You're going to need all this stuff to deal with these hornets. Well, Chelsin's offline, and he doesn't know why Chelsin isn't working. Chelsin is no longer sending him where he needs to go. He doesn't have his navigation system, and Chelsin is no longer adapting his body to deal with threats. So what he's got is what he's got. He's got his tongue, he's got his jumping ability, he's got super strength, but he cannot grow guns, he cannot grow armor, he cannot evolve to deal with any threat, and he's going to have to do it anyway. So, it's like when he sees 5 hornets, he's got to fight them with his bare hands. And that is something that, he never had to do before. He never really had to he would just throw guns and blow them all away. He can't do that now. And these things are sick, incredibly tough. Cyberfrog can barely handle one of them at a time. You're going to see him take on one, and it's messy. It is drop down, drag out. a terrible fight. So where is Salamandroid? Now Salamandroid never lived with Cyberfrog. He only met Cyberfrog once before. Cyberfrog's aware he has a brother, and all of that, but they never really teamed up or anything in any real way. Salamandroid is on his own. We don't know where he is, but he's looking for Rebecca, and we don't know where Rebecca is. And Salamandroid is
I'm going to. Yeah, have a great day, man. We'll see you later.
It's going to be, I think the idea of behind Cyberpunk is so much about kind of growing up as the world is changing. Like you really can no longer afford that kind of careless attitude. You can't, and the problems have become so big that you need to attack them with your bare hands. So yeah, I spent a lot of time thinking about this. Obviously, this character is so much more to me than anything run. It's just I was so afraid. I mean, to even do this. I thought about Cyberfrog. I had Blood Honey in my head for like 10 years. 10 years re-signing it and playing it big. But the comics industry has changed to such a degree that like.
I'm going to take this plywood base out to the shop and cut it down.
I can spend 3 months drawing this comic and make it the way I want it to be and get it out there. It's actual art. It comes from my heart. So it's not just me just drawing a script. It's someone else wrote. It's actually work. So I'm like.
That's the Dilbert artist, right? I think it is going to be great. How many tons can Cyberpunk lift? Like 4 tons. Cyberpunk can pick up your car and throw it. He's got Spider-Man strength. He's got Spider-Man. Salamandroid could push over your house. That is. CBS when Cyberpunk is ready for the movie. Can I break the screen hit alongside you? I'm not going to. Alrighty. I will be right back. Got to make this a little bit more manageable.
I don't want that much control over it. I just want.
Oh, he's going to want a tip.
I like my comment.
Get a clamp.
All right, let me get risk analysis. What's that? $5, $10 too. Did you guys figure that out? Are you able to just make random donations with $1 if you want to? If somebody could try to just show me the $1, that's that. Adam Egg is $5. If you get drunk with the swarm, get alcohol poisoning when they eat it. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think they get poisoned by it though. I think they'd be able to process the alcohol pretty easily. Yeah, get John Patterson to write Cyberfrog, says Adam. That's a brilliant idea. See yourself, thank you for Australian $5. Cool, thanks. Also, cameo of Tico, the tadpole, in Cyberpunk series, Spectre Rose. Emotionally exhausted. Hey, thanks for saving $5 on me. I sent you an updated 4th English. Sorry for all the emails. I'm just passionate about Bro White. A lot of people are. A lot of people are passionate about Bro White. Delmar, thank you for $1. I actually had shown you $1 on the Blood Honey. That is like super random for anyone who wants an alpha reward. But I'm not John Candy, thank you $5. Will one of the 3 Cyberpunk books left? Wow. Never thought of that. I never thought of that. But I mean, that's the thing. If you can, cool. I would love to do that. I would love to. I'm happy to throw them right now. How can you like the 4th one with all those things that like red and blue 3D glasses? That'd be great. I love that. I wonder what that costs and how to do it. Mark O4 Anthony says, just did you? Alright, so let me see. can you just donate $1? Yeah, somebody just donated $1. So you can do that, guys. If you want to, you can go and just donate any amount of money that you want to. If you just want to contribute to the campaign, just be like part of the cause. Yeah, you can donate without a reward by clicking the back in button. So right here, you just click this, there, and then you can just make any donation, like so, donation amount. Contributions are not associated with perks. So that's just any donation. And if you can't donate $1, you can donate $5, $10. That would be really cool. Albert says 3D would ruin the art. Yeah, maybe there can be a 3D section though. Maybe like you go, oh, this is one big action scene, and the action scene is different. Let's say no, it'd be neat though. I would like to see it.
I like that he doesn't want to do the stuff in 3D, and I agree, man. I had to learn 3D modeling and animation. Had no choice. Well, boy, would I like to see some of that CGI go away. Get out of here. Maybe someday it will get to that point, but it's not there yet. I don't watch comic book movies that often, but I just, for whatever reason, I happened to be somewhere and they were watching a Superman movie, and it was a fairly recent one. In this movie, at the end of this movie, they're just completely destroying this city. And it was just so 3D or CGI heavy, but it was ridiculous. It was pointless. It was not story driven at all. And just for visual. And really, it'd be nice. Enough of that nonsense. I watched a Transformers movie one time, and it was just like so over the top CGI with these robots transforming and things moving that it's like, okay, you're just doing this because you can. Not because it's necessarily cool. Maybe the first time you see something like that, it's kind of cool. But that's about it. That is how it goes. It's like, listen, I'm 13 years old. You were not here. You haven't been here for the past 13 years. My mom told me all about you. I know who you are. I know what you are. He's not freaked out, by the way, of Cyberfrog because he's seen the aliens. This kid's whole entire life has been coexisted with the reality of alien wasps. So seeing a talking robotic frog is not that big of a deal to him. He's heard about him. He knows about him, but he's just like you, kind of like his stepfather. We don't need you. We're fine. We were fine when you got here. Cosmic Soldier, thank you for Australia. Kids death flies, the ability to mimic the wasps. Some flies do that and make them a real piece of human garbage that just wants to burn. That's kind of who he is. If he shows up, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he deals with the bugs. I would imagine Deathfly would plow through the wasps. Darth Vader plowed through the rebels. These characters he's dreaming up for this are great. Great concept. And who would think of it? Something unique. No, but it is funny because I looked at him the other day. We did a live stream. And, see, this is a good example of corporate entertainment really being out of touch. So he's wanted to do, he's had this idea for 10 years. And all he had to do was go to crowdfunding, and all the people want it. Everybody wants it. But before, I just wonder how many times, and I have no inside knowledge, but I just wonder how many times, he was told, I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
These are about half the size of a comic book. Ash cans were created way back in the 1930s for magazines. Originally, the point of an ash can was to secure a copyright on a magazine. Like, if you just invented the name Cosmopolitan and you have a magazine, a fashion magazine called Cosmopolitan, it's your idea. Before you get the first issue on the stands, some unscrupulous publisher, competitive publisher, might take it out from under you and put a Cosmopolitan magazine on the stands. So you do it a cheap, like, hey, look, I made this photocopy magazine at Kinko's, and it goes on the stands, and you now own the rights to do a Cosmopolitan. You secured that copyright. Cosmopolitan is my magazine. It is about women's fashion, and then it's called Ashcan because you throw it in the trash. It's like people would just throw it away. It's not meant to be kept. So Ashcans reemerged in the late '80s and early '90s. They were really big in comics as a way, as a collectible means of showing fans a preview of a new book of the in the '90s. Wild Cats #1 by Jim Lee was going to sell copies. Okay? I mean, it was a huge event. It was like on scale with a new film, a new feature film. So instead of a trailer or a preview, you put out an ash can. You offer it.
I remember
the ash cans ended up being
in the early '90s when Image Comics came out, and those artists were really doing unbelievable work. Just such high quality artwork as compared to what others were doing in comics. And then you had like McFarlane with Spawn, and all that stuff was really, really groundbreaking. And at that point, I hadn't looked at comic books in years. Since I was a kid, getting Star Wars comics, and Gru the Wanderer, which is still just one of my favorites.
They haven't been around in 20 years, and even Cyberfrog. So let's bring back Cyberfrog. Let's bring back ash cans. Let's bring back chromium covers, and all of that stuff. All right, so what moves like Cyberfrog? Okay, so I answered that question. Thank you. What $2? Lancer 737. $2. Microsoft was up on E3 today. Are you excited? I am. Delmar, thanks for $1 donation. Ground Zero, thanks for $5. When I get more money, I'm going to get a classic superhero book with amazing art. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. I'm excited to sell one for you. I'm excited to sell these books to you guys. I'm not the type of person that's going to say, don't buy my book. I'm begging you to buy my book. I want customers. I want fans. I want you guys to do this.
My mother has a book.
And I'm listening to your feedback.
And I need to try to get it from her. It's I'm sure she got that book in the '80s, but it was one of these big coffee table books. Maybe like National Geographic or someone like that, but it's a huge, thick book, and it's all about the history of comics, and it goes back to like early Disney and Flash Gordon and stuff like that. I haven't looked at that book probably since I lived at home, but I would really like to see if I could get that from her.
Ready for that? Now that Chelson has been shut off, he no longer has that intrinsic programming. He's no longer programmed to need to save people. He does it now because he wants to. And that is a big change. Like, he used to be like, I'm watching TV. Oh man, my food thrusters are going off. I gotta go take care of somebody who's fighting somebody. Blah blah blah. And it was an annoyance to him. He's a Gen Xer. I mean, that's just who he is. He just wanted to be his own guy. He wanted to be selfish. He wanted to be a slacker. Can't do it anymore. He actually, when he comes back, he's older. Even though his programming has been shut down, and he doesn't respond to danger the way he used to automatically. Now he wants to. Now he cares. Actually cares. Um, he made 69 things for $5. I'm from Elkhart. I remember when Matt started All of Heroes Comics. He was a freshman in high school. You were a freshman in high school. Still have some signed Vortex comics, signed Small Book LOL. Yeah, Elkhart was the center of All of Heroes. I used to take the bus there. I was 19 years old, had no money, so I would save up like $90, and I would buy a Greyhound bus ticket, and I had to take a bus from New Jersey to Elkhart, Indiana. It's like a whole 24-hour trip, and it was so fun though. And I'd go there, and Matt Martin and Trent Canoe would pick me up at the bus station. I'd stay at their house for like a week, jam on comics. Man, those were good times. So much fun. $1 message retracted. Thank you for whoever sent that. Lowkey07, thanks for another $5. You should promote Cyberfrog at Puerto Rico Comic Con. I'll bet it would go well over. I'll bet it would go over well over there. I would love to. I'd love to. I'm telling you, as next year, I'm gonna hit the concert. Can't do it now. Ava is too young. I don't want to travel without my family, and Ava's too young to plane anywhere far. The Slayer named Buffy, thanks for $1.99. What happened to the Vader foot drawing? Did I miss it? Yeah, I missed it. That's it. I'll do it. I'll do it tonight. Right now, it's promotion of Cyberfrog. Let's see if we sold any more copies, by the way. 170. We're almost there. Okay, so we only need 118 more dollars to get to 171,000. That would be huge. Thank you guys. Thank you. Every time we get to a little landmark, I'm excited. I'm like, yay. Gorilla Vision, thanks for $5. I want a JRPG style Cyberpunk game like Chrono Trigger. What is JRPG? What does that mean? I'm not familiar. Man, I'm not a gamer at all. I only play that one game. I only play Dead Rising. Can you guys tell me what JRPG stands for? Japanese role-playing game.
And now we're getting some structure to this. It's going to be a great pose.
A lot of indie comics struggle to make them. Will you publish other artists in your company, or will you just publish your own books? That's down the road. My feeling is that comics are going to change a lot, and they're already changing. I am trying to build something here. I'm trying to build what could become a publishing house, but right now it's entirely self-interest. Right now, I'm interested in publishing my own work. Will I eventually publish other people? Man, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? I don't have the money for it right now. I mean, I would want to have $5 million in the bank, in a business account in order to start a publishing house. And I just don't. So I mean, maybe I will. All of this money is getting saved. It's like all the money that I don't spend is going into my business account. It's getting saved. All the money that I make off of this, Rainbow Fruit, Cyberfrogs 2, 3, and 4, it's all going into a business account. All my bills are getting paid, like T-shirts and YouTube and commissions and other royalties from DC. So I can afford to kind of store this away. And I'm trying my best to build something here, and hopefully it will happen. We are interested in eventually becoming a publisher, but that just seems like a big dream to me right now. You know what I mean? Comics are changing. People are going to follow my example, follow my lead, and you're going to see a lot of that happen. I feel like it could be an articulate spokesman for a new line of comics. I could represent a new line of comics, a new way of publishing comics, a new way of thinking about comics fairly well. I need and that would be so cool. If you have to crawl on your hands.
I don't remember exactly. It was like a whitish, off-white cover. It's a big book.
And I go, what, you voted for Trump? Good. As long as your idea is good, you're a good creator. I'll publish it. Great.
It's a big size book. I bet you she would let me have that too. She probably doesn't look at that at all.
No, I think this is the
But as a kid, I wore the spine out on that book.
Ghostbusters 2016 was indubitably, unquestionably a failure for SJWs. It was a defeat, a big defeat, which is why they went after Milo Yiannopoulos, his attack on Wesley, whatever that was. That's what they do. They're doing that here too. Solo was a defeat for them, so they're everyone's attacking. They just keep doing it over. Everyone's attacking Rose Pico. These racists. That is how they cope with it.
That story about Kelly Marie Tran is going to come out as a lie. I'm very sure of that.
Same thing. They're going to hope for a different result, which is what people call insanity, right? But I don't think it's the definition of insanity. I think it's the definition.
Let me
learn your lesson. Learn your lesson. People don't want this.
let me put that what you typed there in Google and see,
Stop taking men's property and trying to make them for women.
because I'll know it the minute I see it.
I'm going to show you though that taking girls' properties and making them for men does work. It's called Rainbow Brute. Rainbow Brute is us doing all of these little girls' properties, and we're going to make them for men, and they're going to be great. They're going to be great. We're going to take Patch Kids, Strawberry Shortcake, Rainbow Fright. We're going to take it all, and yeah. That's the thing. And by the way, why not? Why wouldn't you take these? Like, if you want
No, that's not it.
Why wouldn't you make a nice live-action Rainbow Bright movie? Why wouldn't you do that?
That's not it.
All these girls' toys that people grew up with. Why isn't there a Barbie? Fun. I mean, a Barbie can.
And this wasn't just about like comic books. It was comic strips.
Why not? Rainbow Brute and his mighty steed. Yeah, that is correct. Mike Earth the Stallion. And everybody likes to ride Rainbow Brute's Earth the Stallion. But it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Made by men for men. We're taking over women's properties. They can't make Ghostbusters a women's property that works. They can't make Ocean's 11 a women's property that works. Why Ocean's 7? Why is it only 8? Budget to hire 3 more actors. Let's see. Does Cyberfrog have reviews? Adam A. Thank you for $5. You're from Elkhart? No, I'm not. I'm from New Jersey. I used to go visit Elkhart, Indiana. That is where All Heroes was. That's where Matt and Trent lived. I found them in a comic book store. Found their comics in a comic shop in Morristown, New Jersey, and wrote them letters. And eventually they wrote me back, and we got home together with a few friends. And then I used to.
It's a big hardcover book.
Spend time hanging out with those boys. It was all about just sitting around a table and drawing. Like they would draw their thing, I would draw mine. And when you're young and you have like hoop dreams to be like Todd McFarlane, like we all did, it was just a great time.
Yeah, I don't think that's it. You know what? I should just I'm gonna shoot her a text and ask her if she'll take a picture of that book while I'm thinking about it.
Lancer 737, thanks for $5. I would love to see a Cyberfrog game that's like Maximum Carnage on that Super Nintendo, or Double Dragon 9 on Xbox. I would too. I would see all this. Good job. Thanks for $1.99. Nobody hates about movies like Book Club. Well, I mean, this is the thing. Get out there and does Cyberpunk have an ally called Top Lobster? No, it doesn't. A Barbie movie with Amy Schumer was in the works. Oh yeah, they were gonna make like a fat, ugly Barbie. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you make kind of like a Barbie movie? What a Barbie movie would like? I don't even know, but just try to keep it like stick to everything that we know about Barbie.
I used to sit with this book and just redraw.
What I would do, I would have. Okay, here's my Barbie pitch. Aim to win.
I'd forgotten about that book completely until we just started talking about this. I hope she still has it. I'm sure she does. She would have given it to me.
And she had a little sister.
if she was going to get rid of it.
Do all that. They put all the history in there. And then this is now Barbie's daughter. Barbie names her daughter Barbie. And this is a young girl, but her mom is the old Barbie from the 1950s. Okay? This is Skipper. Yeah, you do the dream house, do the whole thing. Okay? She's done it all. This woman's done it all. She's the most famous. Barbie is the most famous fashion model in the world, but she's past her prime. She's learned a few lessons. In fact, what I would do, I'd even let it go a little bit SJW. I'd make it a generational thing. So old Barbie from the 1950s, Barbie the mom, believes in traditional things, believes in, whatever, traditions were in the 1950s, 60s. But this this new Barbie, who's now a big fashion model too, is much more progressive and believes in all kinds of crazy stuff, like women can do things up both. I mean, just crazy stuff like that. And the mom is not. That would make a great Barbie movie. That would be a terrific Barbie movie. It would be a comedy. It would be fun. There you go. I walked out of the pitch meeting with a success. Sold. That's a Barbie movie. Totally awesome. You can do that with anything. Take any of these properties and turn them into. Yeah, they're all named Barbie, of course, because Barbie is a hero. Okay, that's very important. But you can't go the way.
Oh, that's awful. Those people really are so venomous. That's why, in my opinion, they're so dangerous. Because they think that you should be beaten, that you should be homeless, unemployed, and hungry if you don't share their views. It's almost there's got to be mental illness involved in it to rationalize that kind of thought. If someone has a different view than me, I'm just like, well, you're wrong, but have fun. But man, some of these guys, I think they would have you killed if they could. I really believe that. Or they would have you dropped onto a deserted island somewhere, with a loincloth on, and they would just say, good riddance. There's something wrong with them. Like with these protesters, or the protests that you see, they have no problems putting a bottle over someone's head, or a bike lock, and splitting someone's skull open. It's the weirdest thing.
Don't listen to Doja John.
I don't know. One of these times, one of those events is going to go wrong.
They talk about
and I don't think that crowd realizes what would actually happen to them if things cut loose. I don't think that has ever occurred to them. Getting ready to go into another long, hot summer. We'll just see what happens. I kind of have a little bit of anticipation about this year because of the midterms. It's gonna be a crazy year, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Well, but you won't do that again. Live and learn. No. Poor Ava. You need me? You want me to get off live? No? You want to go to my Sorry guys, I'll be with you in 1 second. Get the Ava notes on it. She's got a red nose and a scratch on it. And she's saying, no. There she goes. She's taking off to play with Star Wars. Everyone's saying Port Abe or Port Abe. I know. You okay, Abe's? Yeah, he's alright.
Yeah, Attack. I think so. I really think so. It's a weird kind of twisted morality where I think that they really want to be good people and they think that they're good people. And it comes down to kind of like an end justifies the mean thing. I think if they deem someone as a horrible, nasty racist, then they just don't even give them basic courtesy of being human. They just write them off.
Cecil says cameras at 10 pounds. So if I ate 6 cameras, Cecil, I'll bet that in real life you're not bad at all. I'll bet that you're svelte.
You remember that Animal Liberation Front, ALF or whatever they were? How they would blow up labs? I mean, they had no problems, with violent destruction.
Bunch of little scribbles. Everybody likes these soy boy sketches. Everybody likes these. Cecil actually saw this, and Cecil sent me a message and said that was the funniest thing I've ever seen when you were lecturing the soy boy sketch. And that needs to be a recurring thing. Like whenever we're reading an article by a soy boy. Yeah,
they were real big in the 90s, I think. The FBI probably got in there and really cleaned that out.
Or if we don't yell at him, we point the camera at him and then read the article in his voice. Yeah, so possible. All right, let's see what we got to say. Oh, here's one. Mustard Tiger 5, thanks for 379 rubles. Do you still hang out with Trent Canuga? I hear he's a big-time video game guy now. No joke. Trent Canuga is working for Blizzard Entertainment. I don't know where he's working. Trent said hello the other day because he saw the Cyberfrog campaign was doing real well. So he dropped me a little Twitter tweet, and that was nice. When I go to California, sometimes I'll bump into Trent, but we don't hang out. We're on opposite sides of the country. I love this. All right, let's see. So Del Mar, thanks for $5. Don't know if you answered this already. Oh yeah, more awesome metal. Thanks for €5. Do the hornets only prey on humans or all living animals? Just humans. Is Cyberfrog going to get an April O'Neil sidekick looking like Rose Teacup? Well, he's got Heather Swain, so he's kind of. I mean, Heather Swain is not a reporter at all. She's just a girl who's going to do some But yeah, I mean that's I don't think he's going to have Rose Teacup companion. Suit yourself. Thank you for spending $5. Any plans for smart villains? E.g. Biotech maybe? Would it be like fighting himself with Biotech would have poison gas?
And I support a lot of those ideals. I think animal testing is a horrendous, horrible thing to do. Dropping chemicals into rabbits and pigs' eyes, I think is just it's so ethically bankrupt. But I don't know about blowing up laboratories and offices. I think part of that frustration comes in is when people are left with no forum and no voice, and that's what happens. And that's what I really worry about what's currently going on, is that if you leave people no option to just be vocal with an opinion, historically we know what happens. Just a basic understanding of history, and they especially right now. hating the old stupid white man. I don't know if they must not be teaching history anymore, because throughout history, horrible things have happened when the evil white man finally gets fed up. Terrible things tend to happen.
Seriously, and it needs to stop. All right, let's see if we sold any more books. By the way, if you have not yet pledged to Cyberfrog Blood Honey,
and just because it's current year 2018 doesn't mean that human beings have changed that much.
We'd be at 171,000. Today our goal is to hit 175. I'm gonna be pumping this thing all day long and probably at night, promoting this comic like Zach told me I'm supposed to. Zach was like, "You're supposed to be talking about this nonstop," and I'm like, "I am. I'll talk about it nonstop, I guess." Chuck Miller says, Ghostbusters, that travesty. I still haven't seen it, but I would love to see Ghostbusters at this point. You know, I might actually watch Ghostbusters and then comment.
Yeah, we're starting to look good now.
Class and Jeremy. Let's put the Ghostbusters movie on, and then we just watch it and then crack on it and make a video.
He's bumpy, but I can see it. I can see him underneath there.
Live Ghostbusters commentary. Well, I want to do live Star Wars Holiday Special commentary, honestly. All right, Ethan, E3 is going on all weekend. Your audience will take a big hit during conferences. Well, okay. Yeah, my audience is taking a little bit of a hit. What is so people are watching E3 or are they at E3? That's for just spinning around and then. I'm taking money for a gift card. Really? Are we at 171? Did you do it? Did it? Hey, we're at 171. All right. Okay, this is awesome. Totally awesome. Yeah, I hope they're watching this. You know, I hope the currently making it very difficult for people who are conservative to make comic books. People like me, people like Mitch Breitweiser, people like Chuck Dixon, and many others who I will not name, who believe me, they've sussed out of these animals and their careers are jeopardized. I hope they see this. I mean, look, sorry for voting for Trump. I do take this as a punishment for voting for Trump. This is, yeah, I'll never do it again. I'll never vote for Trump again. EBS, Cecil, and Murphy's commentary track on the holiday special. That's possible. Murphy's would be a lot of fun. Murphy's would be really, really cool. Hey, Ethan, I haven't got mine yet. Okay, all right. $200,000. Let's make it happen, says William Fleischer. I think we will. And when we get to 200,000, it's just all about me promoting it. I need to promote it better. When we get to 200,000, maybe I'll have Kyle color this. Listen to Kyle have color something. He's working on this right now. I mean, this is just. And by the way, people want this to be a poster. Should we do this as a poster? You know, big shot here. I can do that. I mean, I'll get Crypto Faction involved. They drop ship posters, so I don't have to worry about it. I can send it over there. And yeah, would you guys buy it? Okay, how much is the poster? Well, both tell me how much the poster costs. But how much does the poster cost? I have no idea. What do you think? How to poster? I don't want to because $25, $7, $9.99, $8, $1 is Tyler the Troll, $12.99, $10. Okay, so we're all over the place. Some people say $10 to $15 basically. On average, it looks like people are saying about $15. Mawai is saying $14.80. Oh, great. A couple of them in the audience today. $14.88 for a poster. Can you imagine? About $14.87. Find out what it is. Like what plus tax equals $14.88. Yeah, the Nazis lost, wankers, get over it. They did lose. They lost pretty badly. And somebody else is suggesting that they should be $17.76. There's a real patriot. There is an American. I don't want to charge $13.37. I don't want to do that. I don't want to make it a reference to that stupid Walmart sells them for $10. Well, you know what? It's not up to me anyway. I mean, honestly, I gotta ask Fashion what they sell posters for. But he did say, yeah, we drop ship posters. We'll do all your merch for you. Just let us know. So they're doing the T-shirts. I believe they're working on baseball caps. I'll have to remind them about that as well. But yeah, so this is being colored by Kyle Ritter right now, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see how this is going to look with fire behind him and everything. It's so cool. I love it. Can you lower the $5,000 tier to $4,000? Yeah, that's probably maybe $5,000 is too much. That was just kind of what people recommended, and I went, okay. Yeah. I think I can. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm able to. But, yeah. $5,000 is too much. Alright, I can lower it. 5K is reasonable. If people recommended 5K, 2,500 is the cost of being killed by a hornet in like 2 panels. But the difference is with this one, you are presumably in the boat until you die.
I've just got Ethan's live stream going at low volume.
In there, you'll have dialogue. It's a pretty big deal. I don't mind. I would lower it to $4,000, but it is going to be some work because I'm going to actually get pictures of you, and I'm going to have to draw your likeness. You can be nude, absolutely, if you want. If I lower it by there's 6 and you haven't bought one yet, I haven't really promoted it that much. Yeah, you know, if nobody's bought into it yet, it's gonna be a big deal. I mean, you're gonna be in the book. You're gonna be in the book big time. You know, you will have your name, you'll be in more than one panel.
Yeah, for the life of me, I cannot come up with a good solution to background music. I don't think there is one except for just to give up any chance of ever monetizing.
I would love to be paid to draw for weed because I'll do it for free. I would do it for free, honestly. Devil's Angels is I will do something. I'll let it Devil's Angels. Anyone at the build about one? And then you get to keep your original anyway. Poster tier is 13. Oh, look at that. $1,300. You get a poster of Cyberfrog going on for 37. I'm happy that this is. Are you still doing amphibionics if you reach? Yes. So that's what I was going to say. So let's scroll down all the way here. You can see we have reached all tiers. The stretch goal. The next stretch goal is $200,000. We're going to colorize and re-release the Cyberfrog amphibionics ash can, which nobody has, and you can't get one. They're very, very difficult. But I will. It's a shame. We're going to take this. And by the way, screw this cover. This cover was a Cyberfrog poster, and they put this cover on here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use this was the original cover with Cyberfrog with the nun on his shoulder blades. I'm going to have this colored up. I'm going to have the logo put on it. Have this one panty shot. What the? But yeah, this cover is going to be colored up, and and this will be the cover for the re-release, properly managed Cyberfrog Amphibionics #1 ash can, complete with the nun stuck on the shoulder blades. It is going to be totally awesome. I love this. Salamander just throwing a Mack truck at someone. That's what you can do when you're Salamander. You can just throw Optimus Prime at your enemy. And that's badass. that is the $200,000 goal. I think we will get there. With the watch get sick of being soy toys, no, they would get more feminine. They would definitely get more feminine from the soy content. I mean, they can handle alcohol without too much consequence. But,
I don't know if it's anything that the YouTube software can compare to another channel. They'll hit you automatically. It happens very fast. It's not a human being that is listening.
It was career suicide. Only the guys at Top Shelf would even look at my work anymore. It's not going to matter anymore. It's just not going to matter. The comic industry is such right now that it's not profitable. Gaffney thinks we should all leave it at 5K and draw them in person. You want to come to my house? Come to my house and I'll draw you like one of my French girls? Absolutely. We could do that. ASSS reminds me of quoting the song about licking all the butter in the fridge. Probably that song probably would have made it on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band if Ethan, what are you going to do for 60K subs? We're going to buy an L33K or 37 for you, and then we're going to strap fireworks to it and we're going to blow it up in my driveway. So when we get there, we are going to explode. We're going to blow up an L33K, but I keep saying 3K, 37 bobblehead. Oh, we can't close. We're 59,203 subscribers. We're 8 months away from buying that L337 pop and seeing if we can pop the fireworks. Now, we tried to pop a General Holdo with my car tire, and it didn't really work. It made kind of a cracking, kind of whiny noise, and that was sad. Can we make a pop with fireworks? Can we make a pop with fireworks? That is Bullet Pop is the new Bullet Blend. Yeah.
What did I do with that Allen wrench?
Fill the pop with fireworks. I'm gonna do something like that. I'm probably gonna buy. Here's what I'm gonna do. You can't get fireworks very easily in New Jersey. You can get these kind of. Well, I don't know. I'll buy one of these gigantic things. Maybe some cherry bombs. I'll find something, and we're gonna blow this thing up. It is gonna be pretty exciting. Hyper Dragon says, "Let's have a popcorn and stick it in the microwave." That's a good idea. Red Strip says, "Do you have a gun?" I do. He says, "Shoot it." I don't know about that. It's been done. We also have a crossbow down here in the basement. And I would shoot it with a crossbow, but that's been done. At this point, everything violent has been done. Most of the obvious violent things have been done with top figures and other figures. You have to be creative with these. Yeah, Ivan Ortega used a crossbow. He used a crossbow on a Rosito figure and BB-8. And I think it worked. At all. Any Dynamo says, if Cecil came to your door, would you use your crossbow? I consider it. First I'd say please leave, but if he didn't leave, then I might use the crossbow. I gotta protect him. Launch it with cluster of bomb run. I don't have a Winchester. I think I do. I might have it. You might have it. Does Will Cyberfrog have web feet? He does when he goes into the water, yeah. No.
I tell you, I'll give you an opinion here. This would be one of those bets or one of those guesses. I think YouTube is going to keep on going strong, but I think their days of selectively enforcing censorship are numbered. I think the feds are going to get involved. That I think is coming. There's plenty of legal precedent for the government to step in. If they're going to call themselves a public service and get some of the perks like being a public utility, they have to provide that service to everyone. And they've been running afoul of that for a while now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that as a campaign issue. I would not be surprised. And that goes for all of them. Facebook, Twitter. You know, those guys went before Congress a few months back, and they all basically lied. And not much has been really said about it, but you can't go and sit before Congress and lie. Now, little things that I've heard are there's stuff going on in the background based on those congressional appearances that, hey, you know, you guys came and sat down before this committee and you lied. So if you don't want to be back before this committee to explain yourself, we're going to have to get a few things straight. I just would not be surprised about that. For one thing, there are a lot of tax loopholes that are made available to public utility services and public services that all of these companies have been taking advantage of. So if you classify yourself as that, you have to operate as that. You know, you can get on your cell phone and you can have a conversation and you can say the most horrendous, horrific things you want on your cell phone, and they cannot shut you off. You know, Verizon or AT&T can't take away your phone service because they think that they don't like your politics. And the same thing is going to happen to these things like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. That I'm fairly certain of. Or they just say, okay, if you're a private company and you want to dictate who gets to use your platform, that's great. But here's what happens now. Your taxes are going up, way up. You're not getting these loopholes anymore. And then they're really going to take a hit. One of the main stepping stones, or the problem for a while, is that the NSA and the federal government was working very closely with Google and Amazon because they wanted all that data tracking. But now that a lot of that is out in the public and known, I mean, you've got your televisions are listening to you now and reporting back conversations in your home. That's insanity. Start seeing all these advertisements for some product, and the stuff is on the record as happening. You know, people are talking about they're having a dinner conversation about getting some new flooring, and all of a sudden online they're getting all these ads for flooring. So it's either your TV is listening to you or your phone is reporting back, and that's just getting into such a crazy realm. I mean, people should be outraged about it. I don't know why more people aren't. You know, how much technology do we need? That's probably a weird thing to a lot of people, but how much do you need every aspect of your life automated? Is it that hard? And some people will gladly give it up. Gladly.
Today might be a drunk day. I've had a drunk day in like a month, and I wasn't planning on having a drunk day until I go see.
I need to go to the store and grab a few things.
Drunk gambling day. I told Andrew this. I was like, I can't wait until July. I think it's 27th. I can't remember the exact date. I got tickets to go see Frankie Valley at the Borgata front row. It's gonna be like Georgia's too good to be true.
So it looks like the little guy with the spider legs is definitely going to go down. He said he's ready, and so that is going to be a cool little project. Imagine like a little person with a tactical vest on, holding a M4 in one hand and a Beretta 92 in the other. He's got a nice little pot belly, and he's sitting on top of some robot spider legs. It's going to be awesome. It's really going to be awesome. I saw the picture of the little guy that the idea is based on. Of course, he doesn't have robot spider legs, but he's just got little chubby feet. And he's got like a scarf or a t-shirt tied around his face like a bandana, like he's ISIS. It's hilarious. It's a hilarious photo. This is going to be fun. So I got to measure out. I was thinking 1/6, but 1/6. This is 1/6. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Let me start again. I was thinking 1/12. 1/12 is action figure size, but if he's a little person, it'd be like half the height of a 6-foot tall dude, and then on his spider legs, he might be. I don't know. I might look at 1/6. Although I think that's probably too big.
You can stay.
Because a 1/6 scale rifle is, well, it's probably about 6 inches. Because the 1/12s are, 1/12 is probably what we're going to have to go with. Otherwise, it'll be a little bit unwieldy, even not great for a desk. And I think that's what they want, is to go on a desk. We're at 2:00 here. I might end this stream, go make some lunch, and then come back. I'm coming back. This is all I'm doing today. Just go make a sandwich, something fast. So this video is at 3 hours. It's probably better to keep these, even if I'm doing a really long one, to periodically restart and let YouTube cut them into smaller segments. I don't know. I don't know if it matters. It's probably easier to navigate through them. Oh yeah. Clay Former, we love you. Well, that was the weirdest, strangest thing. You guys won't believe this when you see this. Just the guys, the room he's in. Had that rain roll in last night. I was really hoping it would rain today. Most people hate the rain. I love the rain. I could live in Seattle, I think. Now I don't know, not having that experience, how that psychologically how that affects you not getting the vitamin D or getting deficient in it, because it seems like a lot of people out there kind of have some depression issues, a lot of drugs. So I don't know. Maybe it's better to have the natural sun. I've read that it only takes 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight to get all the vitamin D you need, at least for the day. If I can get this all masked out today, I'll be happy.
scientist gangster juice, but still I get attacked by a moose. When I started respecting women, I still get no respect from them and bound. Wounded and bound. That's how you have to run. I get no respect from who's bound. Respect. Why won't you respect me? Let's see. Which part of the Bible? I never liked it. Is he jelly? Is who's bound and really J bound? Probably not. Midnight Stars is why from Cecil Wesson. Cecil's okay. Cecil comes in. Again, I tell you again, just because you love someone doesn't mean you need to let them do whatever they want to do. Cecil comes in and makes a lot of noise. He just makes a lot of noise, and that is sad. Why is Gamora says Cecil no good? Cecil's okay. Cecil's a nuisance. Cecil GTFO. Here we go again. Cecil Ultron. Cecil's chaos. Cecil's a bully. Then some people like him. Cecil's like everyone loves Cecil. Cecil is handsome. Cecil, do you want to come in here and defend yourself? I don't like the Cecil face of Rats. I don't like either Rats. I don't like either kind of people. But you had classic structure. I do. I have to. And one of them is signed by Catholic Stewart. One of them is signed by Abbott. Cecil is perfectly wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh this one more time. Give yourself one more copy here now.
A little bit stuck by.
$138. We are at 29 factors. I think it's possible that today we will hit 3,000. I think it is possible. I also think that it's possible today we will hit 60,000. 60,000 subscribers. Come folks for secrets right here. Dan Tunis and DJ Mendelson just followed me. Cecil is the infant of CIA box says, would you mind if I redesign drop the extra bubble in my system? I want to see all of your artwork. I want to see you guys redesign. I want to see you guys draw. I want to see you post stuff on Twitter. I want to see that stuff. It's great. It's great. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll be back tonight at 9 p.m. This was a long chat. This was like 3 hours long, but I think we do good. I thought a toe reveal was 60,000. Yeah, I'll do it. Would you rather I do a toe reveal, or would you rather I Actually, Melissa's got a video lined up. Yeah, I do. It's based on this right here. This totally annoys me, this article. So I'm going to do a video about this and put it up. Screen Rant is doing this to troll me. Ryan Johnson's Star Wars trilogy may release in 2 years. This is a complete troll. It's based on Captain Kenny. Make another horrible movie. This looks, I swear to God, this is right out of Rosemary's Baby, this scene. Enough for this. This is complete misrepresentation of art based on, I'm going to blow up Screen Rant, and that's going to be my next video. So I have stuff planned. I got stuff to do. But thank you so much for, pitching. Thank you so much for backing. Oh, we just sold another book. Thank you so much, guys. Good way to end. I'm going to go have a beer and eat some chicken.
There we go. All right, start raking that down and then
And I'll see you tonight at 9.
fill in the voids.
Thank you a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Hmm. Yeah, I will. I'll have to bribe her to stay out in the other room with eggs because she wants to be in here. Kind of been enforcing the water bottle rule this morning, much to her displeasure, but I don't know why she wants to be in my lap so much. It's hot. Like eggs, he doesn't want anything to do with anybody when it's hot. He just wants to like lay on the countertop or find something cold. All right, we'll see you a little bit later. About an hour.